Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking Tennessee whiskey. All right, Ben.
So much Dickel.
What is on the bar?
A very controversial whiskey. I don't think controversial is the right word, but people love to hate George Dickel.
And maybe it's fair, maybe it's not fair. And I think maybe there's a bit of both.
Right. So we want to do this flight because the only Dickel product that I've knowingly had, now they do a lot of contract distilling and people source from them.
We're sure we've had several of their products, but weren't positive.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, and there's other stuff from Tennessee.
Yeah, and the reason we don't know is because we don't really have anything to compare it to. Like when we're drinking a sourced whiskey from Tennessee, it's like, oh, this might be George Dickel. And it's like, well, how would we possibly know that? We've only had this one. We did a review of this a long time ago.
Yep, and we liked it.
Both of us really liked it. This was was it the 11 year, the 13 year that won a couple years ago? Like
the 11 year was super popular. Or I'm sorry, the 13 year was really, really popular a few years ago.
Yeah, it won some sort of thing. I can't remember what it was. San Francisco World
Awards.
Spirits or something.
Yeah.
So anyway, we decided we're gonna do a flight and just find out what all the...
So I gathered up what I owned.
Yeah.
But actually had not opened. We actually just opened all of these, right? All four of them.
And for our return viewers, I assure you I did pour all of them this time. There are no doubles in this flight. Thank you for commenting on that.
Yeah. The previous flight, he mispoured.
Yeah, I completely botched it. So anyway, I know you didn't get to see me do it, but I did it under Greg's close supervision. So we've got these in order, ascending proof.
Yeah.
This is the just George Dickel Sour Mash Tennessee whiskey. It has a big red 8 on it, so that must mean it's an 8-year.
Well, it's an 8 out of some infinite number.
Classic 8 recipe. So Dickel, you'll see the number on the front here of the 12. They're kind of notorious for putting a big number on their label.
Suspiciously large 12 on there, but no, that does not mean it's a 12-year bourbon.
Yeah.
Or Tennessee whiskey, or 12 represents anything at all. And I gotta be honest, that's a little bit of a hinting at misleading marketing.
It is.
And it's a little weak.
Speaking of little weak.
We're gonna go for it, eh?
Honestly, this just comes across as an 80 proof bourbon.
Yeah, and I mean...
Very basic, very standard.
Yeah. We, unfortunately, I think that's maybe a weakness of ours, is because we, after doing almost 200 reviews, in fact...
By the way, 200th video,
200th video. How the heck is
the
that
little
possible?
bourbon channel that nobody asked for.
That's right, but you got it anyway.
Yep.
But we do a lot of reviews with higher proof points, but when we go back to an 80 proof, we criticize it maybe a little bit unfairly.
Yeah, it falls flat for us.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for most people, when they get a little further into getting into bourbon, going back to or Tennessee whiskey in this case, going back to the 80 proof, once you kind of develop a palate for the little higher proof stuff.
Although this is caramel forward.
It is. It's pretty basic. Yeah. I'm not noticing the quintessential Dickel note that everybody talks about is that mineral Flintstone vitamin sort of thing. Vitamin E. I'm not really getting that.
Yeah,
so let's go in
it.
for the taste here. Cheers.
I poured way too little of this one for the ultimate.
Oh,
the third act. Really?
Yeah, it's I'm getting different.
So it has a bright fruitiness.
I was just going to say citrusy almost.
Yes, a lot of caramel, light ethanol. It's not the most complex or well-rounded Tennessee whiskey bourbon. I might call it a bourbon. It's very bourbony.
We know it's
it's fine. There's nothing off-putting or even unapproachable. Like
I kind of find that citrusy note, and I think maybe that note that's coming across a little citrusy for me is maybe what people are talking about with that Flintstone vitamin mineral.
I need to top up a little bit more for our third act or fifth act or whatever it's called. And I need to make sure I do the right bottle pour this time.
I mean, I will say this, for budget stuff, I'm assuming this is a fairly budget friendly.
Yeah, I don't remember prices, but I would guess this is very entry level. I think it's fine.
I've had worse.
Totally agree. We did a flight of a bunch of little ones. There's nothing negative about it. It's not my favorite. Like, I prefer 100 proof and I prefer some other stuff more. But this is absolutely perfectly fine. Nothing.
I could see that citrusy note being a little off-putting. I find it a bit off-putting, but again, I've definitely had worse. I mean, it's basic. It is what it is. It's an 80 proof whiskey.
And well, I would only say this is 80 proof whiskey that I like as an 80 proof whiskey.
For what it is.
Yep. Okay, so now 86, right?
Yeah.
So this is a barrel select. I don't know the details. I'm guessing essentially single barrel, or I should have read, but.
I saw those bottles in, I've seen those in stores, and sometimes they have a little necklace on them that has the, kind of like the Jack Daniels.
Yep.
Single barrels do. 86 proof on this one?
86 proof. And all of these, they call it charcoal mellowing. We assume that's a Lincoln County process, which is how the Dickel kind of in state of Tennessee defines Tennessee whiskey as opposed to bourbon.
Yep.
So.
Nose is pretty similar.
They simply filter their finished aged whiskey through
maple charcoal.
Maple, little chunks of charcoal maple. They say it doesn't add any flavor, but it just mellows it somehow.
I think it adds I mean, it kind of makes it unique.
Well, they say it doesn't, but who knows? Anyway.
Pretty much the same on the nose.
Buttery. Brown sugar, light brown sugar.
Yep. I definitely like this better than the 80 proof.
Toasted
For only
almond.
6 proof points, I think this one is much more well-rounded. I'm not getting that off-putting citrus note on it.
Well, it's probably a individually selected barrel, so this is a good barrel, and this is actually really good. I like this a lot. It does have that brightness, though.
Yeah, it's a little bright, for sure, but it doesn't have, this one was a little off-putting, and I don't have that with this.
I actually really like this. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all.
I mean, of course it's 86 proof, and
If you just poured me this as a 86 proof whiskey, and I didn't know anything about Dickel and never heard anything about it, I would not assume that there is a large contingency of George Dickel haters.
Yeah, like
all across the. But obviously some people like it because people are sourcing from it, and they sell products. So.
Yeah, and maybe it's just a regional thing. It's the Kentucky versus the Tennessee thing. Who knows?
It could be. So yeah, this one is really, it's much sweeter. It's got more of those like baking cookies.
Yeah.
Like the sweetness, the brown sugar, like you said. A little, I agree with you on the buttery. I don't know if I would have come up with that, but now that you mention it.
Almost almond. Like, I actually genuinely like it. It has some, on the finish, it has a weird finish that I'm having a hard time. I almost want to say almond, but it's a tad different than your typical bourbon.
Well, we're getting somewhere. I think this would be nice with a little bit more proof, which brings us to the 12-year.
It's not a 12-year.
To the big number 12. So this is Superior 12 recipe. So this one is 90 proof. Let's get into this.
90 proof should be a good proof point.
Oh yeah, we're getting somewhere here.
Okay. Cloves.
Really?
Really is right.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a little spice to it. Definitely noticing a little more barrel on this one. A little more oak.
Wood sugars barrel was prominent. It still doesn't look like it was aged very much. I'm guessing, I don't know the rules, so I'm not sure.
Does it say straight whiskey?
It's a superior recipe.
If it's superior recipe, I think it legally has to be a certain age.
Boy, small batch.
I like this on the nose.
Sour mash, it doesn't say straight. It's a sour mash whiskey. So, I think this is aged 2 years and 1 minute.
This one, I'm picking out a little bit of that mineral, I think.
Yes, I would agree.
I don't hate it though.
For the first time, like a half hour ago, you ate a Flintstone vitamin and you could still just a little bit of a
chalky
hint.
aftertaste.
Yep.
I don't know if I would have come up with Flintstone vitamin as the way to describe that.
But it's a pretty good description, honestly. Because if you know what that tasted like or so on.
But if I had never heard that before, I don't think I would have come up with that. But I do understand the mineral kind of vibe to it.
So recipe 8, I think, is fine. It's recipe 12 sucks.
That's the problem. I suppose, yeah, they're different recipes, right? I wonder what the recipe is on this one.
I don't, that,
Does it even say?
I don't know, but
No. All right. So moving on to the 11-year. So this is 11-year bottled in bond. So we're at 100 proof now. Let's see how that fares up.
and 4 years, and it's anecdotal, but it definitely looks darker in the glass than the others. So
Yeah,
this
for
one in
sure.
particular looks like it's less than 4 years, but simply on what it looks like in the bottle.
Yeah.
And we've had this before, and
We both liked this when we had it.
but having just drank this, am I still gonna get that Red Flintstones vitamin?
I wonder though, this has got 11 years, so I'm expecting some oak to maybe cover up that a little bit. You know?
Let's find out.
On the nose, it's definitely
Rich.
rich, and there's some oak on the nose. That brown sugar's coming through. Not really noticing anything off-putting on the nose.
Nope.
All right, let's go for it. Cheers.
Really rich and interesting character from the oak.
I really like this one. I do, for sure.
This is a solid.
Yeah, solid whiskey.
Although it does, okay, at the start, then the middle, between the middle and the finish, the taste changes. And it's not bad, but it definitely dries out and becomes dry and not astringent, but maybe it's just the alcohol.
Could be.
I don't know, it's
It's a little tannic.
yeah, it's a bitter note. Bitter.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's where I'm going with the tannic. It's
Yeah.
got a little bit of a bitterness.
And it's
to it.
not horrible. It's just noticeable.
I actually like it, to
Yeah,
be honest. Sometimes I like that oak bite.
It gives it some character.
Yeah, for sure. And I do feel like it maybe drowns out if this is the same. You know, you'd think they would use their superior recipe in there.
So what do you call this one?
Aged 11.
Inferior?
Yeah.
Classic.
Classic, okay.
Which means it sucked.
Yeah.
We had to superiorize it. Not superior.
So, as we mentioned at the beginning of this, we've had some products that are sourced from Tennessee that we've kind of wondered, is it a Dickel product?
And there is one product that it is not clear whether this is a Dickel product or not. However, we do know the mash bill is 8488, which that should add up
That's-
to 100.
Yep, that's Dickel's mash bill.
That is a Dickel typical mash bill. It is a Tennessee whiskey. It's sold as a bourbon.
Right, so this one, so the Dickel has the 888, and you're saying this other product
Yes.
that we've had
Yep.
also in the product description has an 88488
Yes.
mash bill.
Yes.
Okay, and it's sourced from Tennessee.
Sourced from Tennessee.
Okay.
It happens to be a winery from California that ultimately sells it, but we should bring it in.
All right. Any excuse to drink this, I'm fine with.
Yep.
We've got BAM. This is Guero, and I know it's pronounced different than that, but with my accent, that's how I say it. Somebody gave me a comment on this when we did the review.
No, it's
like,
pronounced-
it's pronounced.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not my accent, though.
Yeah, no, it's pronounced
This is how-
exactly the way I said it.
Yeah.
Glass stopper, which is typical for Savage and Cook products.
Yep. So this one is 108 proof, 17 years. So I'm going to pour half a glass of
So pick this up. And
one
we
of the
did-
more expensive bottles you own.
Yeah, we did a review of it, and absolutely, I think we really, really liked it.
Yeah, I really liked it.
And I suspected maybe, just maybe, this is a Dickel product when I saw it was from Tennessee. And it's not clear. There's been a bunch of people on Reddit, which is not the most reliable thing ever, say that this is actually, a Dickel product. Squeeze it in there. And
Okay.
the best guess is that they're using the same mash bill as Dickel typically does. So we think it is. So we're going to include it. So we just had an 11-year, and I'm going to take another sip of the Bourbon Bond.
11-year 100 proof.
Yep. And see, does this come across as similar? Do we think it's the same master distiller?
Definitely want to check them on the nose against each other. I mean, they certainly smell similar, but 17 years, I mean, that's going to do a lot to the...
I think the 17-year, it's hard to say. I believe, and I think a lot of people have said that the oak really, really affects the flavor of bourbons.
Well, yeah,
And
most of the flavor comes from that. So.
Yeah, definitely. And so you're getting the oak, and I would like to think that as they age, they test it occasionally and make sure that by the time they get 17 years, these are really good, well aged.
This one, it smells almost a little dusty.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, this is Bottled and Bond.
Picking up on kind of a fruity note in the 17 year, but maybe I'm just looking for
This
it.
is just dark and rich.
Yeah.
The Guero. So I'm not getting any of the. I mean, I think all the lightness has been baked out of it by the barrel.
There's definitely a difference between those two, but let's go in for the taste here.
Okay. It's such a good whiskey.
It
bourbon.
is.
It
So
says
this
it
is
says bourbon on the
Okay.
bottle.
so distilled in Tennessee. So I mean, can you do that? Can you take a Tennessee whiskey and then just put it in a bottle and say it's bourbon if you sourced it?
No, I think I think some of those Total Wines that they came from Dickel, they put the word bourbon on it because Dickel can make bourbon.
Right.
I mean, they attempt to make it in Texas even.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Dickel actually does have a bourbon out. I'd like to try.
Yeah. Yeah, they just choose to call most of their stuff Tennessee whiskey, and it's mostly awesome. This is such a really, really good. I think it's hand-selected barrels.
Yeah.
It helps it as much as the age, but
There's just no comparison that this is completely superior to all these other ones. Which it's not even a fair comparison.
it's not. But is it in the same family? I think yes.
You think so? I'm going to go back to the 11 year. I poured too much of all these.
I actually poured a lot, and thankfully it's a Sunday. It's the middle of the day, and I have nothing else to do today. Actually, I do have something to do, but I guess I'm not going to do the power tools stuff this afternoon, I don't think.
Yes, we do not condone whiskey and power tools.
Yeah, no kidding. This is going to be a solid pour.
You could talk me into you could talk me into these being part of the same family for sure.
I think so. I think they grew up very close to each other.
Getting like a cherry on this Guero now.
But we get that on
Dark
well-aged.
cherry, well-aged stuff, yeah. Little chocolatey almost with that darkness. Like
I just got that.
Covered cherry.
So after the finish, which, okay, so maybe it wasn't the finish.
11 year.
Like it turns into chocolate covered cherries on the finish. And I don't know if I've actually had one, but I know the two flavors. I'm assuming what they would taste like together.
Sure. Well, I don't hate these. I definitely like the 11 year.
I'm willing.
If this is Dickel, this is outstanding.
Well, it's outstanding no matter what. I think it is Dickel, but I'm guessing it's exceptional no matter what. It is $200 typically, sometimes a little bit more than that. If you're a whiskey collector, spend the money and get it because it's freaking amazing.
And there's only so many of them.
There's only 900 and it's been out for a year. And there's actually less. The 14 year, they only made 300 of them.
Okay.
So anyway, you'll see those around. It's just a cardboard tube that they come in.
Yeah, it looks like it's cardboard with this sticker on it,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is super basic.
Yep.
But it's great.
Yeah.
So,
I would say I genuinely like the 80 proof. It is absolutely an 80 proof bottom shelf.
for what it is.
It's good. I really liked it. Love this. And I, for the longest time, rejected it, thinking it's only 86 proof. It's what, $39 or so?
That's a little. I don't think I. Yeah.
34, maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah,
35.
I think I got it at Total Wine, but
I wouldn't pay that much. I wouldn't buy one of those for that price.
It was fine. I like this. Really disappointed in this. So whatever was superior about it, I disagree.
Yeah, I didn't really think it was either.
Yep. Bourbon we've liked, and I liked it a lot today.
Yep. I would agree with you. Like the 80 is a basic. It's fine.
Yep.
Beginner whiskey.
It's probably a $20, maybe less than $20.
Yeah.
It's not 8 year, but it's fine.
I like the barrel select better than I like the 12.
Yep.
But yeah, I think just at the price point, I would not race out to buy a bottle of it just because if it is $35, if I remember, 35 to 40, that's a little expensive for a
barrel of 86 proof? Or a barrel proof? Or
What?
I'm sorry, a barrel select, not a barrel proof.
Yeah, I don't think I would go out and buy one of those just at the. How much? I didn't $40 like it. Let's just say that. So if it's close to that,
Fair enough.
35 to 40
Yeah.
area. Again, just like you, bottled in bonds, really good.
Yeah. Okay.
This is great. So now we have to do the unthinkable.
We're gonna blend a 1 year, or I don't even know what.
We're gonna blend these three with these two. So here's a 17-year, $200 whiskey.
An 11-year.
And an 11-year, yeah.
Oh, you've gone too far.
Oh, I should have tasted the blend.
I was thinking just the 11. Pour some more. I think you need to do it. Or you can pour them in one glass.
Twist my arm.
Yeah. I think you need to do a blend of just the 11 and the 17.
Okay. I'm gonna drink some good old age bourbons this weekend.
It's 28-year-old bourbon.
Yeah. I had a lovely 15-year bourbon yesterday that I had never had before. That was nice. It's a picture of a guy smoking a cigar on the front of it.
Yeah, I've never actually seen one of those even in the wild.
All right.
28 years, like 208 proof.
Yeah.
This is maybe a first for us.
We should start a math channel too. Just teach people math.
Yeah.
All right, let's go in for it here.
The richness and brown sugar is just on point.
It is. I feel like it's actually smoothed out a little bit though. Like the sharpness that you get from the 17-year. Oh man. On the finish, there's something that's almost like a super sweet, like custardy or something.
Yeah,
vanilla custard.
I could see that. I'm gonna do a blend of the bottom three to begin with.
I screwed that up already too.
Oh, it's okay.
Is ruining.
We're doing.
Apparently, me and pouring whiskeys lately is just a problem.
So what is that? Is that?
That's all of them.
Oh, that's okay.
That's all 5.
I'm gonna pour them all together. I just want to see these 3 first.
I'll have to take your word for it. Man, the 11 and the 17, there's just a great finish.
That is an absolute great blend, by the way. I'm prepared to make a statement. This is the greatest whiskey because it can ruin anything.
So this is the sore thumb of the group.
Exactly. If you take out whatever recipe 12 means, and Dickel probably has a lot more products, and maybe that same kind of note is in others. But it's fine in all of the others. But there's something about that one that it's noticeable.
Yeah, this one sucks. I just.
And if you're gonna pour it with Coke or whatever,
yeah, then
it's
it would
probably
be fine. I mean, sucks is maybe a strong word. It's just, but there's something about it that's
It just
got
has a little bit of a flavor that I don't hate it. It's not like it's vile or offensive. It's just
No, if somebody poured me a glass of that, I wouldn't have trouble getting through it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pour that, but
Yeah.
I don't think
you'd take them off your Christmas card list. But
yeah, for sure. All right, let's get the blend of all 5 here.
All right, so I got to do it. So this is the 3. It's a meh. The blend of 5. That's a solid pour. The best thing about this channel is I live across the street, so I don't have to drive home after trying to do one of these super flights.
He lives, maybe 200 feet away, but then after a big flight like this and a nice big blend, the walk home becomes like 250 feet. With
Well,
the
typically
zigzag.
I go to the post or the mailbox, which is slightly out of the way.
This is very standard.
Well, yeah, I don't know. On the nose, I feel like that's unfair. The nose when you blend them.
Yeah. Well, let's go in for the taste then.
That's right.
I can taste that freaking note off of this one.
So, yes, that note is still there. It's still off-putting, mildly, but still. but it has a lot of other stuff, including a great finish. Maybe a greater finish than any individual one. Like, it is a solid red pepper burn now on the finish. And I don't remember that up until now.
Do you know what would be great with this blend? Is if you took these 3 out and then took these and either drank them together or separated them and drank them individually. That would make this blend perfect.
A really big pour.
Yeah. I don't know. I agree with you. There's a little bit of heat on this one.
That I don't remember even on any of them.
No, yeah, I agree with you.
We are 480 proof at this point.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, we've violated all laws of physics.
It is interesting that this one that had that one weird note, when you blend 5 together, 2 of them being north of 100 proof, that still shines through. Yeah. So maybe all the people that just trash George Dickel and hate it so much are just getting a hold of this. Because they look at it and they go, well, this one, basic recipe, this one, superior recipe. They're like, oh, well, screw the basic one. I'm going to get the superior recipe. Classic.
So here's my guess. Who knows what exactly that recipe is? It's a different mash bill. It may be a different yeast strain, and we may be objecting to a particular yeast strain that they use, or something. You know what I mean? Different corn and malted barley. I don't think we would object to that as much.
Probably not.
It could be something like whatever that yeast strain is. The 12 yeast strain.
Yeah.
Is the one that we really dislike.
It's noticeably different.
It is noticeable. A lot of people on the internet have said so, and we agree that it's not my favorite. But everything else they do, I actually genuinely like.
Yeah.
So I would like to know more as to why is that so weird? Is it the yeast strain? That's my theory. And
why do people hate Dickel so much?
People will say anything on the internet just to be objectionable. Idiot.
I don't see enough of a difference between this and some of the other basic bourbons that we've had.
Totally.
Like the well-aged stuff, assuming this is Dickel, are great. And so even like their basic stuff, it's like, yeah, it's basic, but there's a lot of other basic bourbons out there that don't get trashed the way.
If we put this in a flight with the top big distilleries, 80 proofers, it would be perfectly in the middle. It's fine. If we put this against other bottom bonds of the big distilleries, it would score somewhere in the middle. It is fine.
Maybe even, just at the 11-year mark.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Just this one, and I'm sure they have others with that mash bill or whatever it is that's unique.
Sure.
Yeah. So, I think you have to be careful with Dickel, and I'm going to do a little bit more research to see if I can figure out exactly what's causing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to dig into this for science and find out what the problem is. So,
if you have insights into what it is you think is causing the unique flavors,
let us know in the comments. So, all right, well, this has been a whole bunch of Dickel on the Bourbon Note. Thank you for watching. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Cheers.